Blessed day. It's me, your biology teacher, feeling extremely delighted to welcome you all for this wonderful hour of learning. I hope you all are doing great, learning your lessons, working out your homeworks, and staying at home. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you to this online learning. Let's move into our 10th standard biology class. I hope you will enjoy learning it and grasp new knowledge. Let's adventure gaining knowledge. Before entering into our today's hour of learning, I have a video for you to watch it. Come children, let's watch. And time is precious behind measure. It has been said that if you want to know the value of a time, ask a student who failed a course. If you want to know the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. If you want to know the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly magazine. If you want to know the value of 1 hour, ask a person who is waiting for a friend. If you want to know the value of 1 minute, ask the person who just missed the bus. If you want to know the value of 1 second, ask the person who avoided a car accident. And if you want to know the value of 1/100th of a second, ask the athlete who won a silver medal in the Olympics. So time is very precious. Don't let your time to be waste. Your times are valuable. Your time. Make use of your time, children. This lockdown time, you can learn lots and lots of things. Gain more knowledge. These days will not come back to you in your life. So make use of your time every minute, every second, every 100th of your second matters for the progress in your life. Stay engaged in learning and gaining knowledge for a better future. Before moving into our lesson learning, I have few questions to brush up on knowledge. We started with the lesson 12 and we have completed it. To recollect what we have learned in the lesson, I have few questions to be asked. I want you to write the answers in the paper so that we'll check how you have understood the lesson. Question number 1. What is ATP? What is ATP? Write it down, children. Second question. What is produced in anaerobic respiration? I repeat, what is produced in anaerobic respiration? And the third question is, dash is a colorless plastid. I repeat, dash is a colorless plastid. Hope you have written the answers. Let's check up the answer whether you have written it correctly or not. If you have written correctly, I have a surprise person to appreciate you. Come, let's check the answer. What is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. It is the energy currency of the cell. So ATP means adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency of the cell. And second question, what are the products of anaerobic? Ethanol and lactic acid. So respiration in the absence of oxygen results in the production of ethanol and lactic acid. So here there is no presence of oxygen. Third one, dash is a colorless plastid. Answer is leucoplast. So what is a colorless plastid here? Leucoplast. Then take down your notebook. Check your answers. Is your answers correct? If it is not correct, you will have to start learning. If your answers are correct, here comes a favorite person, Sachin Tendulkar, to greet you for saying your answers very correctly. He applauses you and you appreciate you for your learning. Keep it up, children. All the best for today's learning too. We are entering into our 13th lesson, Structural Organization of Animals. This lesson will be discussing about two animals. One is leech, the other one will be rabbit. The structural organization of animal. In this class, we will be learning about the Indian cattle leech. It consists of 10 topics. First, habit and habitat, external morphology, locomotion of leech, digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, excretory system, reproductive system, and the parasitic adaptations of the leech. What are the changes that leech have taken? So these are the 10 topics that we will be discussing in our today's class. I hope you will learn better and gain a better knowledge about the Indian cattle leech in our today's class. Iridinaria granulosa, the Indian cattle leech. Systematic position, phylum Annelida, class Iridinae, order Ganthopdelia, genus Iridinaria, species Granulosa. This is the systematic position of the leech. We are proceeding into the topic habit and habitat. Iridinaria granulosa is an Indian cattle leech commonly found in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar and Sri Lanka. It lives in freshwater, ponds, lakes, swamps and slow streams. They are ectoparasitic and they feed on the blood of fishes, frogs, cattle and human. It is a sanguivorous blood-sucking in nature. You can find two letters which are given in bold words, ectoparasitic. They are parasitic but lives on the external part of the organism. They don't get into the organism but they stay externally. The second word is sanguivorous. The organism which feeds upon the blood of another organism which have the blood-sucking habitat are called sanguivorous. So learn these two terms, children. Sanguivorous and ectoparasite. Let's move into the external detail of leech. The size and shape of the leech body is very soft, vermiform, measures about 10 to 15 centimeter when young, but when it's grown, it will be of 35 centimeter in its length. It's elongated and the body is segmented with a posterior end and an anterior end. So this is the shape of the leech. It's more or less cylindrical and when contracting it looks like a ribbon in shape in structure. So when it is normal it would be cylindrical as you see in the picture, but when it's contractile it will be having a ribbon like structure. The body consists of various designs. In them you can find the segments over the body. The segmentation is called the metamerism. The body of the leech consists of 33 segments and you can find that in the picture. The color dorsal surface is olive green in color and the ventral surface is orange or yellow in color. The entire body is segmented into 33 segments. And you can find the bright colored over there which we call it as the annuli, ring of annuli. This is also known as somatids. The temporary cilitum is formed on segment 9 to 11 which is meant to produce the cocoon during the breeding season. You can see that in the picture. So there are many annulus separating the body into various segments. Near to the anterior end, you have the 9th and 10th, 11th segment having the excretory or the reproductive opening. This is about the structure. Receptor. On the dorsal surface, there are 5 pairs of eyes. On the first 5 segments, you can see them. These are the sensory projectors. 18 receptors are there. We call it as the sensory projectors. The annular receptors are located in each annulus. You can find them in the picture. And on the dorsal side also you got a receptor called the segmental receptors located on the first annulus of each segment. So the body has got receptors which is found in each segment. Now coming to the eye. The first 5, you can find 5 pairs of eyes are present over there. Can you note it in the picture? There are pairs of eyes. 5 pairs of eyes near to the anterior end of the segment through which the leech can view all what's happening near the surrounding. Next, coming to the suckers. Leech has got 2 suckers. The sucker located at the anterior, which is called anterior sucker, also known as the oral sucker, which helps in the sucking of the blood. And this position is occupying the first 5 segments. The first 5 segments is made up of the anterior one with the pre-oral chamber for the sucking of the blood. And the last on the other side you can find the posterior sucker, which is very broad than the anterior one. It is of the last 7 segments. The last 7 segments of the leech as the posterior sucker, which helps in feeding, while both the suckers help in attachment and the locomotion. This is about the structure of a leech. We shall now learn how to draw the structure of a leech. So leech has got a ribbon-like body structure with a anterior sucker on the top and posterior sucker at the bottom. This posterior sucker consists of 27 to 33 segments. The last 6 segments makes up the posterior sucker. This posterior sucker is used for the attachment with the host. So you can see that in the picture. Now the posterior sucker drawing is done. We'll now move on to the next anterior part of the leech. Leech body consists of 33 segments, of which 26 segments makes up the body of the leech. The segments are with annular rings called the annulae. So on the top you can find the anterior sucker. So the drawing is done. The leech has got 2 regions, the dorsal region and the ventral region. On the dorsal surface you can see eyes on the first 5 segment, that anus in the posterior part. The ventral region you can find the mouth, the first nephridophore, male genital aperture, female genital aperture and the nephridiophore at the base. So these are the parts in the leech. So the external view as well as the dorsal view is given for you in the diagram. So after drawing, you can label these parts in your diagram. Learn it, children, by drawing yourself. Our next topic could be body wall. The body wall of leech includes 5 layers: cuticle, epidermis, dermis, muscular layer and protoidal tissues. So these are the 5 layers in the body of a leech. Let's look into the various segments that is present in the leech body, dividing the body. The first to fifth segment is called cephalic region. Sixth, seventh, eighth segment are called precillator region. Ninth, 10th and 11th segment are called ciliator region. 12th to 22nd segments of leech is the middle region. 23rd to 26th is the caudal region, and the last 27 to 33 they forms the important posterior suckers. As we've learned in the external morphology of leech, this posterior sucker helps in attaching the leech body onto the host. The parasitic movement is done by this posterior sucker. Our next topic would be locomotion. Leechers move from one place to another. Locomotion in leech takes place by two types. First is by crawling movement or looping movement. The second type of movement is swimming movement. We'll see the video and we'll understand how they move. First type, looping or crawling movement. This type of movement is brought about by the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. The two suckers, the posterior sucker and the anterior sucker, serves for attachment during movement on the substrate. So with the help of the suckers, they move from one place to another by forming a loop-like structure. This is the first type of movement. The second type of movement is called swimming movement. Leechers also live in the water. In the water, the leeches swim very actively and perform undulating movement in the waters. A similar contraction method, but it also makes itself comfortable in swimming in the water. These are the two types of movement. The next important topic is digestive system. The digestive system consists of the alimentary canal starting with pharynx, radial muscle, salivary gland, esophagus, crop chambers. The chambers are more than 10 chambers you can find there, the crops. Then lateral cachea, and you will have a stomach beneath the crop, intestine, caesium, then follows the rectum and the anus. So this is what you find in the alimentary canal. At last you have the posterior sucker. So these are the organs which you can find in the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal of a leech is a straight tube running from the mouth to the anus. The mouth is tri-radiated aperture situated in the middle of the anterior sucker that leads to the small buccal cavity. You can see the tri-radiated mouth there. The walls of the buccal cavity bears 3 jaws with single row of minute teeth. Then follows the pharynx. The pharynx is a muscular one surrounded by the salivary gland. The secretion of the saliva consists of erudin. You can find an highlighted region there with an esophagus, a small crop structure. Beneath that you can find crops, which is the largest portion of the alimentary canal. It is divided into a series of 10 chambers. The chambers communicate with one another through the circular surrounded by the sphincter. A pair of lateral backward directed cachea surrounds as blind outgrowth from each chambers. Then you will find a stomach, then intestine, followed by rectum and the anus. It's a very simple digestive system of the leech. You can find in the picture the segment wise parts are given On the first two segments you find the jaws, then followed by 6th to 5th segments the pharynx, then in the 6th to 8th segment you got the esophagus, then from 8 to 11 you got the crop chamber, then in the 19th you got the stomach, and 22 is your intestine, and 23rd to 26 is your rectum, and in 26th the anus, and 6th to 22nd nephridiophores, and in the 10th segment you got the male genital aperture, and in the 11th segment you got the female genital aperture. So the segment wise detail of the leech is also mentioned. So accordingly you can mark the parts in the diagram. So after drawing the diagram you can segregate all the 26 segments in the picture. You would have noted that from 26 to 33 is the posterior aperture. The next topic for our discussion would be the nervous system of leech. Leech consists of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and sympathetic nervous system. The central nervous system consists of brain. Brain in the center makes the complete control of the nervous system, which is called the central nervous system, from which the other nerves runs for the peripheral nervous system. You can see in the diagram, nerves move for the eye, optical nerves, peripheral nerves, and you can see the light glowing over there. They are called the peripheral nervous system, which rise from the central nervous system, the brain. And the third type of nerves would be the autonomous nervous system. Here, the nerves runs to the lower part of the body of the leech. In the diagram you can notice the brain on the top with the vertical nerve cord running round the middle of the body, with various nerves running laterally called the ganglion. So this diagram you can learn for the nervous system. The last topic in the external structure of leech would be the reproductive system. Leech is a hermaphrodite because both the male and the female organs are present in the same animal. Let's move into the male reproductive organ. There are 11 pairs of testes, one pair in each segment from 12 to 22nd segment. They are in the form of spherical sacs called the testis sac. From each testis rises a short duct called the vas efferents. In the diagram you can see that from the segment 12 to 22 you can find the testis, which is in a spherical sac, and it is connected with the vas deferens. So the testis sacs are there shown in the picture, and with the sacs, the oval sac is shown there, which is pale pink in color. The next organ would be the vas efferents, which join with the posterolateral border of the testis sacs and run outward to join the vas deferens of its sides. All the vasa efferentia of one side open into the common vas deferens on the other side. This epididymis leads to a short duct called the ejaculatory duct. You can find the blood vessels running by these ejaculatory ducts on both sides join to form the genital atrium. You can see in the picture. The ejaculatory duct is there, which join with the genital atrium. It consists of two regions coiled with the posterior glans and the pineal sac consisting of penis that opens through the male genital organ. The next comes the female reproductive system. It consists of ovaries, oviduct, and vagina. There is a single pair of ovary in the 11th segment of the ventral side. Each ovary is a coiled ribbon-shaped structure. The ova are budded off from the ovary. From each ovary runs a short oviduct. The oviduct of the two sides join together to form the common oviduct. The common oviduct opens into a pear-shaped vagina which lies in the middle ventral in the posterior part of the 11th segment. Now, how does the egg develop? Internal fertilization takes place. This is called by cocoon. Cocoon is also known as the egg case, which is formed around the 9th and the 10th and 11th segment. Development is direct and proceeds in cocoon, which contains 1 to 24 embryos. So it has 24 embryos in them. Each leech resembling the adult emerges from the vagina. So this is about the reproduction of the leech. It is an hermaphrodite because contains both the male and the female sex organs in them. So we know that the testial sac produces the testis, which fuses with the oviduct and results in the productions of the cocoons. Cocoons are nothing but the egg case in which the embryos are formed. It is present in the 10, 11 and 12th segment of the body. Leech is a parasite, endoparasitic, that it lives outside the body of an organism. To lead this parasitic life, what are the adaptations that leech takes? Let's look into it. Leech leads a parasitic mode of life by sucking the blood of vertebrates and shows several important adaptations in their structure. First, blood is sucked by the pharynx. Second, anterior and posterior end of the body are provided with suckers by which animals attach itself to the body of the host. The three jaws inside the mouth causes a painless Y-shaped wound in the skin of the host. The salivary glands produce iridoin, which do not allow the blood to coagulate. Thus, a continuous supply of blood is maintained. They don't have parapodia and seta. And the last important point is blood is stored in the crop for many months together because they don't have secretion of digestive juices and enzymes. So these are the basic adaptations that a leech have. It is sucked by pharynx. They have two suckers, one for holding, another for sucking, and they make a Y-shaped insertion in the body of the host to take away the blood, and the salivary gland of the leech has a special substance called iridoin, and they store the blood for several months together because there is no secretion of enzymes. These are the adaptation that is taken by the leech. Medicinal values of leech. Leech has got its own effect in every human being's life. Leeches are effective in increasing blood circulation. Second, they break up blood clots. When blood coagulates, this leech produces a substance called iridoin, which removes the blood clots. So, second importance is they break up blood clots. It is surprising that they can be used to create cardiovascular diseases. Third, they are treated for heart problems. So heart is a pumping organ which keeps pumping the blood all over the body. So this leech helps in cardiovascular treatment. The next important use is the saliva of the leech are used in the pharmaceutical drugs which treats hypertension. So leech has got its own medicinal values in the life of you and me. Children, with this we have come to the end of learning about leech. In this class, we have discussed about the systematic position, its habit and habitat, the external structure, segmentations, about the suckers, its body nature, and then the body wall, the divisions in the body. Then we moved on into the locomotion and its type, digestive system, the various parts in the alimentary canal and how it does the digestion. Then we learned about how to draw the structure of leech. Then we moved to the respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, excretory, and the reproductive system with the male and the female. Then we discussed about the parasitic adaptations of the yeast, and finally what are the uses, medicinal value of leech in human being. So with that I conclude the discussion about leech. In our next class we shall discuss about a rabbit, its morphology, external morphology and internal details. I want you to read the lesson material from your PDF and learn the new terminologies, write out the spellings and learn those terms. In biology, the terms are very important. Only when you are able to pronounce it and spell it properly, you can get good marks. I have given you few assignments at the end of this lesson. You can work it out and learn thoroughly. In case if you have any doubt, contact me and I am ready to explain to you. Stay safe children, obey your parents and don't go out of your home. Make use of this time. The time that you spend, you will not get it back again. So time is precious. Valuable times are your valuable investment. God bless you children.